Habeus Papam. And with those words, the Catholic Church, it was announced that the Catholic Church now has a new pope. Bishop Robert Prevost, formerly the Bishop of Peru, is now the new Bishop of Rome under the name Leo XIV, and also leader pontiff of over 1.4 billion Catholics nationwide. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily, your daily dose of sunshine. I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf. Kayla, I'm sure you watched that yesterday.
Indeed, I did. Good morning and welcome to the program. I'm Kayla Magwa. You know, we were all in the office yesterday. You know, there was a false white smoke initially.
Indeed.
So when the false white happened, you know, we were all in shock, still wondering what's going to happen, what has caused this. And then we kept watching, and then an actual white smoke came out. And then we kept thinking, who was it going to be? And it's the American.
Well,
it's the American.
Now, I do not want to indulge the Americans. I really do not want to indulge them. But guess what? So while the Americans might have been rejoicing that the Pope is actually from the United States of America, another group of people have really been rejoicing because he is from amongst them, the Augustinian priest. So it turns out that the Augustinian priests, the last Pope, Pope Francis, was a Jesuit priest. This current Pope is from amongst the Augustinians, and they do have their order also very present in Nigeria. And less than 10 years ago, the new Pope, I don't think he knew he was going to be Pope at that time, visited his brothers in Nigeria, and they have been all over social media. I'm sure if you're looking over social media, showing pictures of when this new Pope visited Nigeria. Well, this morning we are going to be showing you pictures and speaking with one of those who actually organized the meeting, called a chapter at the time, that the new Pope, visited or was a part of at the time. So this morning, we're going to be speaking with two priests. One of them joining us all the way from Wyoming in the United States. He joins us virtually. And we also have in the studio here Reverend Father Patrick Alumuku, who's a PhD holder. He's the Director of Communications of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja. But first, let us go to Father Eugene Inobeme, who is of the Order of St. Augustine, who was also one of the organizers of the chapter that held right here, not so far away, in Maraba, in Nasarawa State, a few kilometers from our studios, which the current Pope visited. He visited a parish called St. John's Parish, which you were a part of at the time. Good morning, Father Eugene. It's very early morning here in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure you must be excited that the new Pope has emerged as one from amongst your order.
Yeah, good morning, viewers. Super excited.
Okay, it does appear that we do have an audio issue there, but we're going to try this again. We are saying, good morning, viewers, and that echoed all over again. I'm sure that must be the joy that must have been echoing amongst the Augustinian priests. So tell us, how has it been amongst your fellow brother priests, knowing that the new Pope has emerged from amongst you?
We are so happy yesterday when we heard the news, being someone we have known, because Pope Leo XIV have visited Africa, especially Nigeria, about 6 times during his reign as the Proud General of the Order between the year 2001 to 2013, 12 years. So I was happy to have met him when he came to Nigeria for a meeting in September 2016. So I was then the head of the logistics of our intermediate general chapter. So I'm super excited.
Indeed. Did you ever think, because we have seen some pictures of you standing right beside the new Pope then when he was Bishop of Peru. Did you ever think, standing there, that this man whom I'm standing right beside would someday become the Pope of the Catholic Church?
not in my widest imagination. But being a cardinal, I just have the inkling. Maybe one day he might become the Pope. So we thank God that we have him now as the Pope of our Universal Church. Yeah.
I mean, Father Eugene, let's talk a little so people can understand what it means, what we're expecting. When we heard that the late Pope Francis was Jesuit, we knew what to expect. We were going to see a super diplomat. We were going to see a very bold person because of how the Jesuit order is and, of course, his history. But now we're looking at an Augustinian who is American and a reformer as well. Many people have said this Pope will continue with the projects and the thought processes of the late Pope Francis. Let's talk a little bit with you about the Augustinian order and what to expect from Pope Leo XIV, since he comes from that order.
Yeah, Pope Leo XIV, we share the same deep compassion for the poor, the needy, the sick, and the forgotten. But one thing I know about him is someone who gets this done and is very firm. So he will be a moderate pope in the sense of compared to Pope Francis.
That's a very telling phrase, that a moderate pope. For the people who probably don't know what that means, what does that mean really in layman's terms? What does it mean to have a moderate pope?
Yeah, well, looking at Pope St. Francis, as we're looking at Francis, people misunderstand him to be someone who is too fast, right? He's trying to in his reforms. Well, Pope Leo, we kind of be a moderate pope.
Well, quickly, I think that we can run through the pictures, not just you now, of you with the new Pope when he visited, but also of other priests who have been showing when he came to Jos, when he came to, other formations that, the Augustinians hold. So I don't know if our producers can quickly run through those photos for us. I do know that are the Augustinians going to be holding a party of any kind? I'm just wondering. Or is it a special mass they'll be saying? I don't know.
I don't know about that yet.
Well, Father Eugene Inoveme, we do rejoice with you, and of course, all of the Catholics who are really excited about this, about the emergence of the new Pope, and as well the Augustinians. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, all the way from the United States.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.